afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Ramarani, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Law. Today, we will discuss on the topic Introduction of Indian Economy. The Indian economy is considered as an underdeveloped economy which was exploited through colonialism by the West European countries like Britain. Colonialism refers to a system of political and social relations between two countries of which one is the ruler and other is its colony. The meaning of the colonialism is between the two countries, one political country, the system of political and the social relation display between the two countries, of which one is ruler and other country is the colony. ठीक है? The ruling country not only has political control over the colony, but it is also determines the economic policies of subjugated country. It means colonialism is a practice by which a powerful country controls less powerful countries and uses their resources to increase its own power and wealth. It means one country is strong country which is ruling country, and the other is weak country on which the uh, strong country rule. Next is British rule and exploitation of India. First one is merchant capital and exploitation. Starting from Battle of Plassey till 18th century. Direct plunder under the guise of trade. And second is land revenue as an instrument to plunder the peasantry. Next is corrupt and unscrupulous officers made large fortunes. मर्चेंट कैपिटल एंड एक्सप्लोटेशन स्टार्ट हुआ इंडिया में प्लासी के बैटल के शुरू होने पर 18 सेंचुरी तक, जिसमें कि ट्रेड के आर्ट में डायरेक्ट प्लंडर किया गया ब्रिटिशर्स के द्वारा, और जितनी भी हमारी पीजेंट्री है, फार्मर्स हैं, उनका वो प्लंडर किया गया लैंड रिवेन्यू के द्वारा। और जितने भी हमारे करप्ट ऑफिसर्स हैं, उन्होंने हमारी कंट्री के जो पीपल हैं उनको हार्मफुल इफेक्ट किया। नेक्स्ट इंडस्ट्रियल कैपिटल एंड एक्सप्लोटेशन स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम बिगिनिंग ऑफ 19th सेंचुरी टिल इट्स एंड। इंडस्ट्रियल कैपिटल और उसका एक्सप्लोटेशन हुआ, स्टार्ट हुआ है 19th सेंचुरी से अब तक। एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ मशीन मेड गुड्स टू इंडिया बाय इंग्लैंड। इंग्लैंड के द्वारा इंडिया में जितने भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग थी उनकी मशीन मेड आर्टिकल्स से गुड्स थे, उसको एक्सपोर्ट किया गया इंडिया में, जिसका अल्टीमेट जो प्रॉफिट था वो फॉरेन कंट्रीज थी उनको ही मिला। तो ऑल दी goods, machine made goods are exported in India by the foreign countries. Next is development of jute industry and plantation. जूट इंडस्ट्री और प्लांटेशन को डेवलप किया गया हमारी कंट्री में, एंड एक्सप्लोटेटिव रिवेन्यू एंड एक्सपेंडिचर पॉलिसीज ऑफ ब्रिटिशर्स। In British rule, they have made a plan to exploit revenue and expenditure policies. The Britishers made all the policies that was in the favor of the Britishers, and all the profit will gain by the Britishers. And in this way the Britishers exploit India. Next is finance, capital and exploitation. Starting from late 19th century till independence, फाइनेंशियल कैपिटल और एक्सप्लोटेशन हुआ हमारी कंट्री में 19th सेंचुरी से ये स्टार्ट हुआ और इंडिपेंडेंस तक रहा है. ब्रिटिश फाइनेंस कैपिटल इन द स्टेट, investment in railways. British started investment in the railways and investment in the plantation, participation of British finance capital in other sectors like rubber, plantations, mining, banking, etc. Uh, the Britishers also start participation in other sectors like rubber plantation, mining, and banking, etc. And there was hardly any economic development under the British rule because all the policies that made by the Britishers and they exploit the Indians, and all the policies were made by them in favor and welfare of the Britishers. Next is India and underdeveloped economy. What are the reasons the India now at a time an underdeveloped economy? The first reason is low per capita income. Due to the low per capita income, the uh, our country is known underdeveloped country because if the per capita income will be low, the means of the livelihood can't be fulfilled, and all the fields of like education and standard can't be maintained. Next is inequitable distribution of income. The second reason of the underdeveloped economy of our country is an equitable distribution of income. There is different between the standard of the living of the people, standard of the education, and all other things status also maintained by the people. uh, if suppose the income of the people is increases, then their living style will also improve. Next is high incident of poverty. In India, due to the large population, uh, there is a drawback due to the poverty. All the facilities can't be provided by the government. Next, predominance of agriculture. The next cause is the predominance of the agriculture. Next, rapid population growth and high dependency ratio. Rapid population growth. Due to that, the high dependency ratio is mentioned here because of the if the population of the country will grow rapidly, then the dependency ratio will also increase because in a large population everyone can't get employment, then the dependency will increase. Next is low level of human development. The level of human development is low in the underdeveloped economy. Next is unemployment. Unemployment is very plays a very important role in the underdeveloped economy, and due to the unemployment, the people of that country can't be progress. Next is scarcity of capital. Due to the lack of the capital, the any country can't be progress, and uh, due to the lack of the capital, uh, the person of the particular country can't get educated and employed. Next is technology backwardness. Due to the lack of the technology, any country can't be progressed in any field. Nowadays we see the technology plays an important role in every sphere of the life. Without technology, the country can't be progressed. So technology should be improved in the country. For that, the government should make the planning, and the people of the particular country should be trained how to use the technology, how to adopt the technology, and the country can progress if they are technically educated. Next is lack of entrepreneurs. Due to the lack of the entrepreneur, the country can't be progressed. So every person should invest the savings in a business. Uh, then the person can progress, and the welfare of the country can be increased. Next, India a developing economy. First one, economic development in India has broadly two facts: quantitative changes, considering the national income trends, and next is structural changes, significant changes in sectorial distribution of domestic product, and slow changes in employment structure. If the government will change the employment structure, then a country can be developed. And slow changes in the employment structure and growth of basic capital goods industries, and expansion in social overhead capital, and progress in banking and financial sector. If the country focused on this point, the government will progress in all the points. Then our country progress can be increased. Next is trends in population growth. According to the theory of democratic transition, every country passes through three stages of demographic transition. Both birth and death rates are high. According to the theory of the demographic transition, every country uh, passes three stages of the democratic transition. Both birth and death rates are high, when resulting in more or less stable population and substantial reduction in death rate with no corresponding decline in birth rate, and rapid population growth, also known as population explosion, decline in birth rate along with reduced death rate, and low rate of population growth. These are the causes of the rapid population. If the both birth and death rates are high, if the less stable population, if the death rate reduce, and corresponding decline in the birth rate, and rapid population growth, also known as population explosion. Next, causes of rapid growth of population. Control of epidemics like cholera and smallpox. Decline in incidence of diseases. Improved sanitation and hygiene. Next, expansion of education and increased literacy. Expanded medical facilities like immunization against preventable diseases. These are the causes of the rapid growth of population. High birth rate, widespread poverty, lack of education, religious and social superstitions, immigration from Bangladesh, Nepal, and other neighboring countries. If we give the permission to the other people, other countries, neighboring countries people to live in our country, the migrate people from other countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, and other neighboring countries, it will be the cause of the high population. Some religious and superstitions also responsible to increase the population in our country due to the lack of the education, widespread poverty. These are the causes of the rapid growth of the population. Next is population and economic development. Population as an obstacle. Population growth leads to declining land-man ratio. These are the very most important uh, point in the obstacle in the population. Population growth leads to declining land-man ratio and low capital formation. If the population will increase in our country rapidly, then low capital formation make the problem. Adverse impacts on employment situation. If the population of a country will increase rapidly, then it will give impact on the employment situation of the country. The if the population will increase, then government is unable to give the employment to every person, and it will be because of the unemployment. Next is adverse impacts on per capita income and standard of living. The adverse impact on per capita income, if the population increase rapidly in our country, then it will be the cause of the low per capita income, and the standard of the living of the particular country will decline. And adverse impacts on feeding growing population. If the population of the country will increase rapidly, then there will be the problem of feeding growing population. If the production of the particular country is limited and the population of the particular country or state is very growing very rapidly, then the country will face the problem of feeding growing population. Next, shortage and import of food grains. If the population of the particular country will increase, then there will be shortage of food grains, and the particular country will have to import the food grains from the other countries. Next is prevents change in occupational distribution. If the population of the country increases rapidly, then it will be the cause, and it will prevent change in occupational distribution. Next is population not an obstacle. Some economists argue that population growth is not an obstacle in economic growth due to the following three propositions. The population growth is not the sole reason for underdevelopment. Some economics say that population growth is not an obstacle. Population growth is not the sole reason of the underdevelopment. Population growth is a false issue deliberately created by dominant rich country agencies to keep less developed countries in their underdeveloped dependent condition. And for many developing countries, population growth is in fact desirable. So, according to the views of the different economics, they consider that if no, population growth is not an obstacle in the economic growth, and for many developing countries, population growth is in fact desirable. Next is remedies for population explosion. Economic measures, expansion of industrial sector. Next is creation of employment opportunities in urban areas, and according to the growth of the population, the government should expand the industrial sector and should provide the opportunities in the urban areas, and equitable distribution of income, removal of poverty. Next is social measures. In social measures to remove the growth of the population, first very important thing is education. If the person will be educated of a particular country, then it will give the positive impact on the development of the country. Next is improving the status of women. If the women will be educated in a country, then we can check the problem of the population growth. Then raising the minimum age of marriage. The government should fix up the raising the minimum age of the marriage, so we can control of the rapid growth of the population. Next topic is meaning of national income. National income refers to the market value of the goods and services produced by an economy during the period of 1 year. National income is the market value of the particular good or services that is produced in the given period of 1 year and counted without duplication. National Income Committee defines national income as national income estimate, measures the values of commodities and services produced in the economy during a given period, counted without any duplication. It means we can estimate the national income, the total value of the production of the goods and services produced in a period of 1 year. Meaning of per capita income. Per capita income of a country refers to income per head of the population of that country, counted a current prices or a constant prices. It is simply a ratio between national income of the country and population of that country. Per capita income of a country, say for the year 2011, will be estimated as per capita income is equal to national income of 2011 divided by population of 2011. For calculating the per capita income, first we have to take the national income of the particular year divided by the population of the particular year. And per capita income of a country depends upon the national income and total population. Check on population is the immediate answer to the problem of low per capita income in countries like India. And if we want to increase the per capita income in our country, then we have to check on the population. That is the only solution of the problem of low capita income. Next is national income concept. Gross domestic product GDP, the total value of the final goods and services according to an economy is one accounting year GDP plus C plus GI plus G plus X minus M. Here C is equal to consumption expenditure and GI is equal to gross investment by firms and G equal to government expenditure. X means value of exports and M is equal to value of the imports. So GDP includes the value of all expenditure within the economy regardless of who earns it. GDP includes the value of all final goods, not intermediate goods, final goods like car, not steel to produce car. It does not count unfinished goods as including intermediate goods leads to double counting. It means we have only count the final goods, not the raw materials of the particular uh, commodity. Otherwise, it will be the double counting. Next is method of calculating national income. First one is net product method or value added method. Net product method is the method while estimating the gross domestic product of the country, the contribution to GDP from various sectors like agriculture, livestock, fishery, forestry and logging, mining and curing is estimated with the adoption of product method. In this method, it is important to estimate the gross value of product by product and ancillary activities, and then steps are taken to deduct the value of inputs, raw materials and services from such gross value. In respect of other subsectors like animal husbandry, fishery, forestry, mining, and factory establishment, the gross value of their output is obtained by multiplying the estimated output with their market price. From such gross value of output, deductions are made for cost for materials used and depreciation charges so as to obtain net value added in each sector. In respect of secondary activities, the computations of gross domestic product are done by the production approach only for the manufacturing industrial units, both registered and the unregistered. Next is income method. In income method, national income estimated by taking the total various factors income like wages, rent, interest and profit. In this method, national income is estimated for different activities in different ways. The national income, the income from sectors like small entrepreneurs, commerce, transport and communications, banking and insurance professions, liberal arts, domestic activities, house property, public authorities, and rest of the world is estimated by the national income. Next is expenditure method. Factor income earned by factors of production is spent in the uh, for of expenditure on purchase of goods and services produced by firms. The method measures national income as sum total of final expenditure incurred by households, business firms, government and foreigners. This total final expenditure is equal to the gross domestic product at market price final, and expenditure is equal to GDP MP market price. Post independence economic policies in India. On 14 August 1947, Nehru declared, "Long years ago we made entire with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge." The achievement we celebrate today is but a step, an opening of opportunity to the great trump and achievements that await us. He reminded the country that the task ahead included the ending of the poverty and ignorance and disease and inequality of opportunity. So they are the basic foundation on which India embarked upon its path of development since gaining independence in 1947. The purpose of this talk is to analyze how much has India really achieved in the last 55 years in fulfilling the aspirations on which it was founded. Thank you.